Hi, I'm Lee and I'm a street pastor. And street pastors are the night shift of volunteers. We go out on a Saturday between 10:30 p.m. and 3:30 a.m. So you'll always see a team of street pastors out there on a Saturday, and sometimes once a month on a Friday also. And we're out pubbing and clubbing, mainly with young people. And when I say pubbing and clubbing, I mean they're in the pubs and clubs, we're out on the streets. But that's fine, because we have the fun, they have the hangover. But really, what's it all about? It's about safety for our young people, the people that are out on the street at night. And they are very vulnerable. And if we'll be wandering down the street and we'll see maybe a young lady sitting in a shop door crying because she's lost her friends. And we'll stay with that person until we can reunite them, because they're vulnerable. Or we're wandering down the road and we'll find somebody in the gutter, unconscious, lying in their own vomit. So what do we do about that? Well, obviously they're really at risk, aren't they? So we stay with them also, and we'll get help, or if we can wake them up and get them home, that's what we'll do. Around about 2 o'clock-ish, I suppose, the police will tell you, and we've experienced, they become very loud and sometimes aggressive. They call it they're getting gobby. Well, we've got a really good thing to sort them out with being gobby. We give them a gobstopper on a stick, a lollipop. And you may laugh at that, but in actual fact, by introducing a little bit of humour into it and into the conversation too, we can actually reduce anxious and angry situations. So we do give out lollipops. We also give out mountains, and I mean mountains, hundreds of flip-flops a year, bottles of water, and we wrap people in space blankets when they're cold. When they're staggering down the road to go to the taxi, we'll walk with them to make sure they get down there safely. Sometimes we carry them too. It's not unusual. So really, that's what we do out in the streets. We'll also pick up bottles and clean up glass, because we see that as potential weapons or hazards. So as you can see, the reason that we're out there is to try and keep our young people safe. And they are our young people too. They might be out of control sometimes, and they may be drunk, but you know something, they're our young people in gospel, our people, and we love them. So what do they think about us? Well, we get lots of kisses and hugs, but we recognise that could be the alcohol speaking. Have we reduced crime in this area? Police say that crime has reduced about 35% in the 3.5 years we've been out. Not all down to us, we recognise that, but we'd like to think some of it is. And so what would we like to do with this money? Well, we're training 9 street pastors at the moment, and the money will go towards that training. That's great, thanks.
I think that's wonderful, don't you guys? Has anyone got any questions for Lee from the street pastors? Lady upstairs, off you go.
Sorry, it's around £300 to equip and train a street pastor, and they do 50 hours of training.
Where does your, how far does your sphere of influence permeate? And is it mostly just the high street?
We start off at Waterside Church, and we go out around White Lion Walk, up Stoke Road as far as the White Hart and back down, and then we tend to centre around the nightclub Emma's in the town, and around the ferry where we get most of the footfall.
Hello, do you get any funding from the public houses at all? From the pubs and clubs, do they give you any funding towards any of it? Nothing at all?
Okay, any other questions before Lee sits down? No? Okay, can we have Tim from Groundwork, please? Oh, we'll go for Joe from Groundwork. Project 3. Oh.
Sorry, you said it was him. Hi.
Sorry, can I just ask you a few questions? Yeah, sorry. Okay, who are we and what do we represent and how much are we asking for?
Okay. My name's Joanne and I'm from a charity called Groundwork Solent. And I don't know how much we're asking for. 3,800. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Groundwork Solent is an environmental charity that works with a variety of people, young people, community groups, and work within communities to help people's lives to prosper and to develop their life skills and their life chances. And one of the projects that we had running up until April this year was a project called the Saturday Shift, which works with dads and stepdads, male carers, to with their children every other Saturday. We work outside at the Shore Start Centre in Rowner to deliver activities with the male carers and the young people. And it's a project that helps to obviously make relationships with dads and their young carers better, and also helps to give mum a bit of a break too. They come to the club every other Saturday, have breakfast and do a variety of activities. One of the best activities they did last year was go-karting, but they also do gardening and cookery and a variety of projects. So we lost all the funding for that in April, and obviously that's why we're here today to carry on with the work that we did, because we believe that the project was really successful, and there is very few activities and projects like that out there for dads and kids, and it's a way of bringing dads closer to their children. For instance, so like there's some dads who are separated from their partners, may not get to see their children often, or sometimes mums are a little bit unconfident in dad's abilities, but the outcomes from this and situations like that is that sometimes dads were actually got better access with their children and more access with their children through this project. Lots of children obviously got better relationships with their father. Dad's done some stuff that they might not necessarily would have done if it wasn't for this project, you know, like changing nappies and feeding their babies and feeding their children, which they wouldn't always necessarily get to do. So it taught them a lot of skills. And so, yeah, we would like to carry on this project. What we want to do is it runs every other Saturday morning from 9:30 till 12. We'd like to continue that for the next year. And obviously during this year, if we can carry on running it, then we'll continue finding funding again for next year. But that's it. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just point out that's actually for bid number 4. We've still got bid number 3, so I do apologise. 2 minutes of questions, anybody? Anybody else for any questions? Any more questions before we move on? Okay, thank you very much. Now we've got team 3, which is two ladies from Fairham Gosport Family Aid. If you could just say who you are, who you represent, and how much money you're after.
We're from Fairham and Gosport Family Aid. We work directly with victims of domestic abuse, and we're looking to raise £2,235, please.
Don't worry, we hadn't forgotten our words. We just wanted to give you a small snippet of how most of society actually deals with domestic abuse.
Domestic abuse is still a taboo subject, and for many of you, it's best brushed under the carpet. But if we don't talk about it and we don't address it, how are we ever going to change it as a community? The stats are right. It really does affect at least 1 in 4 people every day from all walks of life. They're the ones that are reported. What about the ones that we don't know about?
All of you have come here today and you're clearly passionate about your community, and that is very good. But there are lots of ways that we can improve our communities, and I'm sure you have your ideas as well. For instance, antisocial behaviour, reducing violent crimes, and reducing a lot of the street gangs as well.
Domestic abuse is often at the centre of all of those things. If you were a young child living with domestic abuse day after day, would you want to go home? Or would you feel safer on the streets? Would you feel included, as if you belonged, if you were part of a gang, if all you got at home was verbal abuse or ignorance? If we're ever to change the ongoing cycle of domestic abuse, we need to educate those in abusive relationships, and we need to prevent learnt behaviour so that our sons and our daughters don't become victims and perpetrators of domestic abuse all over again.
We are truly passionate about what we do, and we really believe that it is achievable as long as we have support. So far today, our programme has supported over 185 adults, and we've had very good feedback to say that it has changed their lives and it has changed the lives of their extended families as well. We don't need a lot, but what we do need will make a huge, huge difference if we're able to achieve that.
We could talk for ages about how passionate we are about running this programme and the difference we know it can make. But we've only got 3 minutes and they're nearly up. So I'm going to leave you with a little food for thought to hopefully ensure that you guys do something, because doing nothing would be a huge mistake. Thank you.
I think we'll agree that's a very emotional and moving subject. So 2 minutes from the floor. Anyone got any questions? Oh, we have one.
We receive referrals from everywhere. We receive referrals, self-referrals most importantly, which means they're ready to do the programme, and that's what we look to work with. We receive referrals from the police, social services, school, health, education. across the board, really.
Not to run our power.
Not for the power to change.
It's very difficult to advertise because it is obviously a very delicate subject, but we advertise throughout lots of organisations, through, doctors, children's services. We liaise with the schools, health visitors, midwives, and try to get our word across to as many organisations so that when they're engaging with these families, they're aware of us and are able to refer to us.
Domestic abuse is we've actually carried out a survey for the last 6 months with all of our clients to ascertain the disincentives of reporting. So the ones that aren't reported, the ones that remain on the streets and behind closed doors, and the number was huge. And all of them were really comfortable in giving their disincentives, and that's what we want to work with so that we can improve reporting and improve a multi-agency approach so that we can really break the cycles of domestic abuse.
Yeah, sorry, that's the time up, I'm afraid. But like I say, at the end, you have 15 minutes to go and speak to all the individual candidates and ask them questions that you need to do. And can we have bid number 5, please? Just need to get the props in place and we'll be good to go. Wow, that's amazing. What I need to know is who you are, who you represent, and how much cash we're after. So who's...
Hi, we're a young person's volunteering group, Loud and Proud, and we're looking for £2,000 today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ian. I'm here to introduce Loud and Proud. It's a young person's group with a difference, and that is that our activities centred around volunteering. It gives the young people in the group a focus, skills and confidence whilst giving back to the local community in many ways. Summer and Ryan here will shortly tell you what membership of the group has done for them, and we might get to tell you about our random props that we've brought along as well. But I'm just going to tell you 2 new ventures we're taking with the group that we're looking for the money to support. Firstly, we want to form a youth club at Thorngate Halls. 2 members of our group have been appointed to Thorngate's committee to help with this. Thorngate do so much for the community, but they want to reach out more to young people. So we're aiming to provide a facility in that area to give young people a place to hang out away from the streets. Secondly, we're also taking part in what's called National Citizen Service Programme with Year 11s this year. We're going to partner with them, provide a venue and guidance, and research and deliver a project over 2 weeks to deliver some good to the Gosport community. It's the first year of that project, so we're excited about the chance to partner with it. So I'm now going to hand you over to Summer and Ryan, who, my capable assistants, will tell you about being part of the group. Thank you.
Hiya, I'm Summer. I'm one of the founding members of Loud and Proud. We initially started as a small group of friends who were keen to carry out some voluntary work while socialising. We've come so far since then, and I feel that Loud and Proud offers so many opportunities for the young people of Gosport. For example, experience to put on our CV, making us much more employable, and the chance to help out the local community in the company of people our own age. There's a severe lack of groups open that's targeted to this awkward age group, and, well, which is for voluntary work really. And I feel that Loud and Proud is one of the rare groups in which could expand much further, which will provide a safety net for so many young people. This money would be a small building block on our way to achieve great things in which we can be proud of.
Loud and Proud is an opportunity for young people in the Gosport community aged between 16 and 25 years to come together and work for the greater good. We have organised and taken part in various activities in and around the community. I first found out about Loud and Proud, about the volunteering group Loud and Proud, through my fellow colleagues at Gosport Volunteer Action. One of the main aspects I really enjoy about Loud and Proud is that it's given me several opportunities to take part in volunteering and socialising activities. Volunteering is often perceived as being a very serious and hard-working activity, but Loud and Proud has changed my perception of volunteering altogether, proving it to be fun and enjoyable.
Thanks very much, both of you. Very brave to come up here and speak. Just one more thing before I finish, because on the notes you had, any questions?
What we're going to do, if there's any questions, if you say it out loud to save my colleagues running ragged, I will use my hearing and repeat it to these wonderful people. So, any questions? Very good. What were you going to say?
I'll pay you later. I was going to say, just to clarify, because we set up with the help of Gosport Voluntary Action, where I do also work, but the group is independent from Gosport Voluntary Action from a funding point of view. We don't get money from there. And I just wanted to mention that because the brief says Gosport Voluntary Action, whereas we're Loud and Proud and we are now separate from them. That was what I was going to say. Thank you.
Anybody else to ask any questions? Do you encourage not in educational employment or training individuals to join?
Yeah, we certainly welcome applications from anybody, and we've worked with kind of partner agencies with Hampshire Youth Services. We've started to speak to Motivate, Wheatsheaf Trust, so we have taken people in from that kind of clientele, and we're aiming to also put on a classroom type programme of confidence building activities later in the year to help people who are struggling with finding work or training.
Excellent. Any more questions? Final question? And the question is, what's your membership like, and have you any plans to expand?
At the moment, about 15. At the turn of this year, there were 4 members, so we've expanded a lot this year, but we're hoping to expand further. There's room to expand more.
Okay, thank you very much for that one. That's great. Okay, we're on a roll now. We're going to go for bidder number 6. Just ask you a few questions, young man. Who are you? Who do you represent, and how much cash would you like?
I'm Phil. I work for Music Fusion, and we're asking for £1,500 today.
3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hello, everyone. Music Fusion is an independent charity. We engage young people through music. We've been working in Gosport for 10 years now. We've been running regular music projects for about 6 years. All our projects are free for young people, and our main aim is to work with young people that wouldn't get the opportunity otherwise. So today we're asking for money. We've been running a successful music project in Rowner Club for about the last 3 years. We've been getting 25 to 35 young people at every session. Young people are given the opportunity to express themselves through music. They become involved in some really good bits of work. For example, the Words Not Weapons work, which was around raising awareness around knife crime. They also get to talk about bullying, relationships, all the other kind of stuff. in their lyrics, so it's quite a positive bit of work, really. In the past, we've been funded by organisations such as Children in Need, and we have reapplied for funding from them because they were really impressed with what we did, but we're not going to get any money until at least September, so that's why we're asking for the money now from you guys, because we're worried that these young people are just going to be lost over the summer if we don't put something in place. So now I'm going to hand you over to some of our young people that have been coming to the project, 3 rappers, and hopefully the technology will work for us. So I've got some CDs, they're free. If anyone, I've got about 10, so if you want to come and grab one off me, it's the Words Not Weapons one. So.
Sorry, he knows how to work a mic, he's turned it off. So, right, okay, 2 minutes to ask any questions about these very lively people. Nobody at all? I was going to say, do it in a rap style, just regular speaking is good.
We were getting about 25 young people to 30 young people a week, different young people. We work with other organisations, so they're out there working on the streets so they could let young people know about it. And we've got a lot of people on our Facebook group as well that we could let them know. That seems to be the best way of letting people know nowadays about stuff. But, yeah.
Anybody else? Any questions? Yes, young lady.
Yeah, no, it's open access, so it's completely not having any experience.
Are you asking if there's an age range as such?
No, it's open access any week. They can just come along and, yeah. Okay, yeah. You want to... saying what you get out of going to it?
Well, we gain like knowledge of music and everything, and I didn't really know anything about music, but since working with Music Fusion at the youth club, I'm now in year 11 now, and I've just been accepted into Highbury College doing level 3 music technology, because I've like gained that knowledge from them, like of what I can do.
That's all we've got time for, so like I say, any questions later, then please feel free. Okay, now we've got bidder number 7, please. Standard format. Just need to know who you are, who you represent, and how much money you require.
Afternoon. I'm Graham Smith. I'm reasonably wearing this shirt is not to publicise myself, but the charity, the Marine Conservation Society, and we're all about the environment, really. So I'm representing Gosport and Lee Litter Action. We're trying to...
Just say 3 minutes. Get key.
Okay, so who's fed up with seeing rubbish strewn around our roads, parks and on the beaches? Hands up. Well, all right, well, we've got some support already. Well, there's many residents across the borough are fed up with it, and what we've been doing is just taking responsibility for ourselves. We don't expect the council to do it all for us. They spend far too much money already doing it. So residents are setting up groups. We now have 6 groups across the borough, and we're just under the umbrella of Litter Action. We use the website, which is on here. It's sponsored by the Campaign for Protection of Rural England. So we're really trying to raise awareness, particularly amongst young people. We've had youth clubs involved, junior PCSOs, police community support officers, schools, which has had a massive event in Broome Park School with 200 young people involved, and also young offenders who are on their community service. We want to get this money so that we can buy 100 litter pickers. We've had some donation from Street Scene, Gosport Borough Council, but we need more so that we can encourage young people particularly. We'd like to donate them in the first instance to junior PCSOs, but also encourage the formation of more groups across the borough. So perhaps one day we'll have one in every ward. And obviously this is going to help us all by living in a cleaner, greener community which we can all benefit and enjoy and be proud of. But getting back to the very core of what this meeting is about, it's about antisocial behaviour. And there is evidence, probably many of you have heard of the broken window syndrome, where if you have neglect, it leads to more neglect. So this is why in cities like New York, they went for zero tolerance. You deal with the small things like a broken window, a bit of graffiti, litter, then people will take more pride in their community and in the environment and have more respect for each other. And then we can all, and this will then prevent other more serious antisocial behaviour and crime. And I'm realising that I'm talking very rapidly because I'm very nervous. But anyway, I'm going to get it out in 3 minutes. So I'm just going to make a plug also for the Marine Conservation Society, because we all live in by the sea. I'm sure many of us love the sea. That's one of the great things of living in Leon-the-Solent and Gosport. But how many of you realise we have got a special responsibility not to drop litter here, because so much of it lands up in our seas and oceans. And when sea's on land, it looks horrible. When it's in the sea, it's devastating to our marine environment. Particularly people don't realise that dropping a cigarette butt, it goes down the drain so easily living in Gosport. It can land up in our seas and harm wildlife. And this is what we're showing the photos of what plastic bags can do, particularly. Turtles see them as jellyfish, their natural prey, and they choke to death on them. So, really do we need to use as many plastic bags as we do? So, yeah, it's about antisocial behaviour, it's also about the environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. A very passionate speech, one which we agree. Right, 2 minutes. Any questions? No questions at all? Oh.
Is it just young people that you want to join your litter groups, or is it all ages?
Generally, our people, our volunteers are older people, but we always encourage young people and specifically aim for them.
Hence the litter picks, because you don't have to bend down so far. Okay, any other questions?
How many members have we got so far?
How many members have you got so far, Graham?
In Leon-the-Solent, we've got 27 email addresses attached, but that represents more people because some of those are groups. We've got groups like Give, Gain and Grow involved, the young offenders, so it's community groups as well. But then we've also got, there's 5 other groups across the borough. There's in Brockhurst, Town Ward, Elson and Hardway. They're not all necessarily under the Litter Action umbrella, but they are litter groups. Also in Elverstoke. And they're all growing. It sort of started particularly in Leon-the-Solent, but what we've done is when people get involved, we've encouraged them to set up groups where they live, because people are more likely to sort of get active in their own neighbourhood, perhaps not willing to travel.
Any other questions before we move on? Question is, have we done any work in Bay House School?
I have sent emails. I'm famous for sending emails all to everyone. They go in the junk email box now. Have contacted Bay House School because it's our local secondary school for Lee. We've had more success with Broome Park and also Lee Junior School.
I think that's all we've got time for now. So like I say, any questions, we can do it later. Okay, we need bidder number 8, please. Same as normal. Who are you? Who you represent? How much cash would you like?
Hello, I'm Jamie Hutchison. I'm from the Accommodation Resource Centre, and we're asking for £900 today.
Okay, 3 minutes start.
Okay. Hello, as I said, I'm Jamie from ARC, and we work with young homeless people. Today we're asking for your help to provide hot meals or transport for people on the streets to get to safe accommodation. Just to go through, picture this, a late evening in ARC, the doorbell rings. A young female standing at the door. She's upset. The support worker brings her in and discusses her problems with her.
Oh, sorry. Have you got anywhere else you can stay tonight? No, I haven't got any friends in the area. What if I call your boyfriend and explain the situation and see if you can stay there? No, I can't go back there. Why not? I can't talk about it. Are you frightened of him? What about your parents? They moved to Basingstoke. I've no family in the area. Look, I've phoned a hostel in Portsmouth and they have a spare bed tonight. They can hold it for you. Can you get there okay? To Portsmouth? No, I can't get to Portsmouth. I haven't got any money. I haven't got any bus parcel. I'm sorry, Sarah, we don't give out money for travel. So I'm just stuck here. I'll be on the street tonight. I'm sorry, you will be on the street. I'm here till 8 o'clock, but then I lock up to go home. So I'm really sorry. I'll give you a blanket and some food, tins of food.
Okay, Sarah's going to be on the streets tonight, and it's a very similar story. Last year we had 435 young people come through ARC who required our help. As she's going to be on the streets tonight, she'll probably not sleep. She'll be frightened and feel sick. The chances of being a victim of assault has increased dramatically. Day 2 will be different. She will be hungry and tired after walking most of the night. She will also be angry, feeling no one cares for her. Alone, no money, she will be desperate. She's probably never considered committing a crime before, but if someone is desperate, they will take desperate measures. Her options are going to be begging or shoplifting. What we are asking today is that no young person on the streets of Gosport goes without a hot meal, and allow us every opportunity to find accommodation for them, even if it's not in Gosport. A ferry ticket and a voucher for a hot meal would have gone some way to solving Sarah's problems. With your support today, we can solve many more. Thank you.
I'm glad I'm not voting because I'd run out by money by now. 2 minutes, any questions, please?